Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. Some massive news for the Kansas State fans coming out of the recruiting trail. Five-star tight end Linkon Cure committing to Kansas State. And normally this is the time where we get into signing kind of, the nerdy conversations regarding the athletic profile, the verified track and field times that most Kansas State fans know what they're getting in Linkon Cure, one of the most talented tight ends we've seen in a really long time come out of the high school level. But I think more importantly, as just a personal college football fan, this fires me up, right? Obviously, staying in state, going to Kansas State, but more importantly, you take a look at in 2025. And don't get it twisted. We've been very vocal. This Kansas State team is going to be very good in 2024. I'm not trying to look over this year, but take a look at 2025. 3 in-state kids, Avery Johnson, Dylan Edwards, Linkon Cure, 3 of the most talented players that we've seen come through this Kansas State program. I would be lying if I wasn't really excited about what this offense looks like in the 2025 year for Kansas State. This is just a massive win on the recruiting trail. And you look at how tight ends are used in this Kansas State offense. I couldn't think of a better spot for Linkon Cure to end up, where he is going to be heavily involved in this Kansas State offense, where you look at a lot of other programs across the country, tight ends don't normally get as involved. This Kansas State offense is going to use the tight ends, and they have one of the most talented tight ends we'll see in college football over the next couple of years to kind of run their offense through. Massive news for the Kansas State fans. We'll get into the film, talk about what he brings to Kansas State. Before we do, and as always, just want to say thank you to you guys. It's been a blast covering the recruiting show. It's been a blast talking this Kansas State team. The amount of support y'all continue to show, it means the world. If you guys do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. And without further ado, let's get into Linkon Cure. And I think you just got to start with the athlete we're dealing with. At 6'6", 220 pounds, you turn on the film and say, this kid moves like a wide receiver, but looks like a tight end. You talk about the definition of a matchup nightmare. There are just not many bigger defensive backs that are going to be able to run with Linkon Cure. You look at the track and field background, runs an 11-second 100-meter dash. That is faster than most of the faster wide receivers we see coming out at the high school ranks. Linkon Cure, some big-time speed. You see that on the film, but then you see the physicality and the coordination and the body control that he has at the catch point. If you want to put some smaller defensive backs on Linkon Cure in hopes for them running with him, you have a guy that can just go play above the rim at such a high level. There's really not a box that Linkon Cure does not check that he's bringing to this Kansas State team. And I think most importantly, he's an animal after the catch. And you look at this Kansas State offense and how well they've, in the past at least, been able to get the football out in space to their playmakers. Linkon Cure looks a little different after the catch. I mean, he has a combination of speed and size that it's just really difficult for defensive backs to deal with. This is a guy that's super easy to get involved in your offense. Leak him out to the flat, give him some slip screens. He can do some crazy stuff after the catch. You combine Linkon Cure, Dylan Edwards, 2 of the more electric players with the football in their hands. And you start looking at this Kansas State offense, combine that with Avery Johnson and what he can do athletically with the football in his hands. There's just becoming so many ways that this Kansas State offense can attack opposing defenses. And you take a look at the film, and again, you kind of see just the reason why he's a 5-star tight end, right? One, he runs his routes like a wide receiver. Like his ability to get in and out and create separation. And when he does get the football in space, his ability to not only make people miss, run over people, run away from people, the quick twitch he has in terms of making people miss. There are so many different ways that he can excel after the catch. I believe that's 6 or 7 defenders that are trying, pretty much the whole defense, trying to bring Linkon Cure down. That is some freaky stuff out of Linkon Cure. Now, what he also can do, not just create separation, not just operate after the catch, he's a red zone guy too. Like if you just want to throw the football up to him when those throwing windows kind of get shrunk down, he's 6'6" and has the body control and the hand-eye coordination and the ball skills to go up and make some of those plays. Obviously, we see what he can do after the catch as well. And he's a guy that can win in just such a variety of different ways. I am just fired up. And you look at this rep right here. I mean, working on a boundary cornerback here. I'm going to make this cornerback look slow. just a simple 9 route, puts his hand up. I mean, you talk about tight ends just running by defensive backs. That is the kind of speed that we are talking about. And then you say he's 6'6", 220, probably going to put on some more weight as he gets to high school or college, excuse me. And then you see the effort. How many 5-stars do you see chasing down plays like this? And Linkon Cure showing off the wheels, but I think more importantly, just kind of showing why he's going to fit into this Kansas State program. I'm fired up about this one. Again, as a college football fan, first and foremost, I think this is a really – I love to see the kid stay home. And Linkon Cure staying home, going to Kansas State, at least for me, I can't wait to see this kid. I think he fits exactly what Kansas State wants to do on offense, and there's a lot of talent on this Kansas State offense over the next couple of years. Avery Johnson, Dylan Edwards, Linkon Cure, a lot to be excited about if you're a Kansas State fan. We'll cut it there. Appreciate you guys rocking with it. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. Appreciate you guys. We'll talk to y'all later. Peace.